Let's see how the market performed in the last week. Last week, on Monday and Tuesday, the market performed quite well with the average daily performance of nearly 7%. And by the end of the week, the market then kind of stabilized. So overall, 1 week performance was around 10% and month-to-date performance was nearly 9%. Bitcoin had a really great performance last week. Actually, it was one of the top weekly gainers, as we will see later on. So 1 week performance was around 10% and month-to-date performance is around 16%. But Ether, on the other hand, was kind of left in the dark. So it had a negative performance on a weekly basis of -4%. And month-to-date performance is just 1%, which is actually nothing to brag about compared to Bitcoin. Moving on with our top weekly gainers, the first one on our place is Stellar. Now Stellar had an amazing week behind it with actually a bump of nearly 30%. This can be attributed to the fact that Stellar has gained the Sharia compliant certification. What this means is they can now operate in the regions where Islamic financial principles rule. So this can expand their ecosystem to those regions as well. On our second place is Cardano with a performance of nearly 18%. And then we have Bitcoin, actually, as we said, one of the top weekly gainers this week with a performance of 15%. Moving on with our top weekly losers, the first one on our list is Binance Coin. So after several weeks of being the top weekly gainers, they have now experienced a small drop, which is no surprise. Then we have IOTA with a negative performance of nearly 4%, and lastly we have Ethereum Classic with a negative performance of 3%. One of the most interesting news that came up last week is actually from BlackRock. Now BlackRock is one of the largest ETF providers, so exchange traded fund provider, and they are now exploring cryptocurrencies. What this means is actually if they will provide cryptocurrencies and accept them in their portfolios, there will be a giant gateway for institutional money to enter the crypto world. The second news is from the CFA Institute. Now the CFA exam is one of the hardest, most rigorous exams in the financial world, and the CFA Institute will include crypto and blockchain as one of their topics in the 2019 exam. So candidates will now be able to learn about the crypto and blockchain as well. Thirdly, an interesting investment report came from Rosca, where they stated that 56% of all money that came into the crypto world came from the institutional investors. And this is really interesting and something that we have explained and also dedicated a different video on, which you can check out. Lastly, another important milestone happened last week, where an event was held in the US Congress where different participants from finance, academia and politics sit down and just discuss cryptocurrencies and their regulation. This was our weekly crypto digest, and also make sure to check out our new ICO video series. And of course, like, subscribe, and if you have any questions, post them in the comment bar below. Cheers, guys!